Welcome to the Ol'JW channel. A friend of mine needs a mower. This one here has a bad transmission that just ain't worth fixing. So I'm going to make this mower usable again by freeing up those back wheels from the gearbox and removing the self-propelled drive mechanism from the handle. It's all just clutter at this point. But first I'm going to lube up the recoil, which has been sticking. To get to it, we'll need that engine cover off using a 1/4-inch driver. Now that we have access to the recoil mechanism, we're going to lubricate that rusty old spring with some all-purpose oil. If you need to, give it a couple of shots of WD-40 before oiling in order to remove any excessive dirt and grime. Work that oil deep down into the internals of the mechanism. As you can see here, the dog ears are starting to swing out as intended. Now that we've got her pretty close to factory, we're going to wipe her down and reassemble. Now we're going to free up them back wheels, but before you do that, disarm the mower. That way it's safe to work under. A simple punch tool and hammer will allow you to relieve them snap rings of any further duty. Slip off the gear and now you've got a driveless transmission. Now, for the first time ever, those wheels can spin freely. And of course, do the same thing to the other side. Phase 1 is now complete. Now it's time to work on that cheap piece of junk planned obsolescence handle that Toro refers to as personal pace. We'll start by removing the easy stuff, like the cables and the outboard springs. Squeeze the safety bail to remove it from the handle. In some cases, like the mount for this drive cable, the components were snapped in place by the factory, leaving you little choice but to break them off in order to remove them.
Okay, so what I've done is using a punch, I'm just kind of punching and breaking away this area of the handle so that I can make a hole big enough to where it will overlap this tab, where, as you can see right now, I'm pretty much there. So I'm going to do that with both sides of the handle, and then that should allow me to, once I take all this junk off, take this part of the handle off, I should be able to slide this thing down all the way off the handle.
Like pantyhose.
And that'll allow access to whatever else we have, except for, of course, the transmission gearbox, which will be in there, but it's so tiny, it's really not adding any weight, so who cares? It's a free mower, right?
You nailed it, lawn man. Now, anytime you start swinging a hammer towards your in-betweens, a fair amount of extreme caution should be used in order to prevent any unnecessary injury to the Johnson and its family jewels.
Got it. Sweet.
Be sure and keep all the attaching hardware for the starter handle. When we put all this back together again, it's also going to serve as the new attachment point for that safety cable. Go ahead and remove this cable altogether, however you deem fit. I just cut mine off at the base. That thing's ready to be removed if I've ever seen anything ready to be removed before. Good job, lawn man. Now let's throw that thing away and let's get this mower ready for delivery. Now, right here is a good demonstration of how not to safely use a screwdriver. Pointing it away from yourself like I did here is probably more along the lines of what the Surgeon General would like to see. Now that we've got the safety bail back on, we're going to attach the cable and mount it using that pull handle hardware I done mentioned earlier. Now, as you can see here, I clamped the cable down using the armature. It required a bit of adjusting to get it right with the handle, but after a couple of attempts, it ended up working just fine. In fact, see that plastic piece there? I ended up taking it off, as you can see here, and it makes it look almost stock. In today's world of disposable societies, we have machinery that's manufactured to fail. In the case of this mower, the transmission was simply not designed to live as long as the engine. A lot of people would just throw it away and buy another one, adding needlessly to the growing waste problem we all carry behind us. This mower is ready to cut grass, and although it does not self-propel itself anymore, it is so light that anyone with an ounce of energy can still get the job done. As such, I consider this job a success. Mission accomplished, a small victory in the war against planned obsolescence and waste. This mower will mow again.